As the mining season inches closer to its conclusion, the pressure mounts for the gold rush crews to extract as much gold as possible before winter forces them to shut down with time running out. Rick Nes, Parker Schnabel, and Tony Beets are each dealing with their own unique challenges, some mechanical, some logistical, and others purely human, but all three miners know that every ounce of gold counts in the choices they make. Now will determine the success or failure of their season's Rick Nes, a high-stakes gamble in crew tensions. Rick Nes has everything riding on his gamble at Vegas Valley, a new cut that could either make or break his season after striking gold earlier in the season at Rally Valley, where he pulled 900. He's hoping for another massive haul. His team has been working tirelessly, moving overburden and preparing to SLO what they believe could be a $2 million payday. However, there's still 60 feet of material to clear before they hit P-Dirt. And with a limited crew and maxed out equipment, Rick realizes he needs all hands on deck. That includes Foreman Buzz Lego, who is less than thrilled about being asked to drive a fourth truck. Lego initially pushes back, reluctant to take on the extra responsibility. Eventually he agrees, but soon after the truck's turbo fails, causing yet another delay. The crew scrambles to replace the part, and mechanic Ryan Kent manages to install a for $4,500 spare within 4 hours, minimizing lost time despite getting the truck back in action. Rue Roads slowed down production. Lego, feeling frustrated and possibly demoted, takes matters into his own hands by jumping into the excavator to smooth things out. However, his dissatisfaction grows, and instead of continuing to work, he decides to take a nap. This does not sit well with Rick, who tries multiple ways to wake him, honking his, calling him over the radio, and eventually confronting him in person. Lego is clearly on the verge of quitting, forcing Rick to step, and is both a leader and a motivator. He lays down an ultimatum, making it clear that Lego needs to either commit to the team or walk away. Despite the heated exchange, Rick ultimately reassures Lego of his value, and the two come to an understanding, settling their differences for the time being. Parker Schnabel, an ingenious fix and a critical way in. Parker Schnabel is fighting to turn his season around after a costly mistake at Dominion Creek. Having invested $2.5 million into new land, including pre-stripped ground at Sulphur Creek, he is counting on his team to maximize production. Leading the charge is Damon Brown, who has been tasked with getting an additional 600 ounces out of wash plant Bob before the season ends. However, before mining can even resume, the crew faces a major issue. The intake pond feeding Bob is clogged with debris. Rather than wait for an expensive and time-consuming solution, Brown takes matters into his own hands, using trees to construct a makeshift beaver dam. This creative fix not only clears the pond, but also saves hours of downtime, allowing the crew to keep sousing. However, their momentum is short-lived when a rock truck gets stuck, and worse, the bucket on their 480 excavator cracks with the X-Adder out of commission. Brown drives 25 to Dominion Creek in search of a replacement bucket. The uncertainty of finding the right part adds to the stress, but luck is on his side. He returns with a fitting replacement, and the crew quickly installs it. This allows them to rebuild their pay pile and keep mining. A personal highlight for Brown comes when his wife and young son visit from Ireland, offering a rare and heartwarming moment amid the grind of the mining season. Taking his son for a ride in the truck provides a brief reprieve before the crucial gold weigh-in. At the weigh-in, Parker's plants deliver solid results. Big Red produces 110.03 processed from red gravel rock. Sayant the long cut contributes 132.0. Bob comes through with 1776 to Oz, worth more than $440,000. This brings Parker sees in total to 4,000. 593 Oz, which is just above half of his adjusted 8,000-ounce goal. While progress is being made, Parker knows he still has a long way to go if he wants to salvage his ambitious target. Tony Beats, a family effort at Hester Cut. Tony Beats has been steadily working toward his 5,000-ounce season goal, but with only one wash plant running operated by his son Mike, he's facing an uphill battle. With 3,800 already mined, he turns to his daughter Monica to spearhead a new push at Hester Cut. Earlier in the season, Monica had set her sights on mining a 3-acre cut at Paradise Hill, an area she believed had been overlooked by old-timers. However, an unexpected discovery at a nearby super pit forced her to put those plans on hold. Now, with the Hester Cut showing promise, she's ready for another shot at leading her own operation. The first challenge is removing the water from the cut so the team can start mining. Tony brings in a pump, and Mike's crew positions it with one of their father's signature Frankenstein machines. However, the final clasp connecting the pipe and pump refuses to close, causing delays. After 4 days of draining, the area is finally accessible, but the crew quickly realizes they have a bigger problem. The banks have caved in, turning the entire cut into a swampy mess. To stabilize the area, Tony and Monica decide to haul in coarse gravel from old tailings, reinforcing the banks to prevent further collapses. Monica jumps into an excavator to load rock trucks with material, but Tony remains concerned about the unpredictable nature of the water-logged ground, with conditions proving too risky. Plans for Hester Cut are once again put on hold despite the setbacks. The Beats operation continues running its trammel. Over the past week, the plant has yielded 32.560, worth more than $800,000. This brings Tony's season total to 4,159 ohms, putting him within reach of his 5,000-ounce goal. However, with winter approaching fast, every day counts. With the end of the season looming, all three miners face critical junctures. Rick Nes is dealing with crew tensions and the uncertainty of whether Valley will deliver the big payday he desperately needs. Parker Schnabel is clawing his way back from earlier missteps, relying on his team's ingenuity to keep operations running. Meanwhile, Tony Beats is placing his hopes on Monica's ability to push through at Hester Cut despite the unpredictable conditions. The next few weeks will determine whether their massive risks pay off or whether their seasons end in disappointment. As Gold Rush Season 15 approaches its added conclusion, the pressure on the mine bosses has never been higher. With only a few weeks left before winter forces operations to shut down, every decision, every ounce of gold, and every mechanical failure could mean the difference between a profitable season and a disastrous loss. The race to meet their ambitious goals is on, but the miners know that any mistake now could cost them dearly. Parker Schnabel started this season with an ambitious 10,000-ounce goal, but a costly mistake at Dominion put him behind schedule early on. In a desperate attempt to recover, he poured $2.5 million into new land, including pre-stripped ground at Sulphur Creek. Now every ounce of gold counts if he hopes to justify that investment. Rick Nes has been walking a financial tight RPP all season. After striking big with a 900-ounce haul at Rally Valley, he doubled down on his new cut, Vegas Valley, investing all his season's profits into what he believes could be a $2 million gold jackpot. However, as the clock winds down, time is not on his side. Tony Beats has been grinding toward his 5,000-ounce target, but with only one wash plant running, the numbers are tight. His son Mike has kept their single operation running, while Tony put his hopes into his daughter Monica reviving production at Hester Cut. Unfortunately, nature had other plans, with each miner facing their own set of challenges. The stakes couldn't be Hire every wasted hour, every broken machine, and every ounce of lost gold could mean financial ruin. The harsh Yukon winter is closing in fast, and as temperatures drop, so does the miners' ability to keep their operations running. One thing is certain, there's no room for mistakes now. The final stage of Gold Rush Season 15 is set to be one of the most intense yet, and every miner knows that the smallest misstep could spell disaster. Can expect high drama, intense conflicts, and some of the most nail-biting gold weigh-ins of the season as the miners fight to secure their futures.